All right, let's jump in. Two quick headlines every Cowboys fan needs: the Duron Bland extension and the Week 1 injury report. About Bland. Early headlines painted this as an eye-popping, terrifying payday, but the paperwork softens those numbers. It's roughly a 4-year, $90 million package averaging about $22.5 million a year, with about $36.5 million fully guaranteed today, and incentives that can push the total higher. The part that actually matters for how the team operates is the contract structure. Bland's 2025 cap hit is modest. The dead money if you cut him right now is significant, and there are clear windows where the Cowboys can reshape the deal. A simple restructure in 2026, for example, could cut next year's hit by several million and buy the team breathing room. There are also guarantee triggers to watch. Some salary is injury guaranteed in 2027, and portions of 2028 carry injury guarantees. So the Cowboys built some protections into the timing of guarantees, which changes the calculus on whether they carry or move on if performance dips. Bottom line, the headline dollars looked worse than the structure actually is, and that matters when you think about future extensions and the team's flexibility to sign top linemen or make other moves. Now the injury report. Good news on the practice field. Trevon Diggs was a full participant at Monday practice despite the knee that worried folks, and he told reporters he feels roughly 75 to 80% likely to play. He wasn't in pads, but being a full participant that close to game day is a very encouraging sign and suggests the staff is on the cautious side but optimistic. I'm leaning toward Diggs being available in some capacity. Expect a managed role early in the game with snaps in nickel and third down work to keep him fresh and protect the knee. Tyler Guyton also practiced fully and said he expects to be ready for the opener, which is huge for the offensive line continuity and for keeping pressure off the pass game. On the flip side, rookie Perion Winfrey not practicing with back tightness raises a question for the defensive line activations. Somebody will be inactive on game day along the DL, and Winfrey's absence could be the one that opens that door. Quick interaction for you. Grade the Duron Bland extension in the comments with A, B, C, D, or F, and vote TD if you think Trevon Diggs starts, or TG if you think Guyton is the more likely to play. If you're not subscribed yet, hit subscribe and help us push to 16,000 so we can keep delivering daily Cowboys updates, and like the video if this breakdown helped you prep for Week 1. When you're ready, I'll walk through the exact cap math and guarantee windows so you can see how Bland changes the team's extension plans and what that means for guys like Tyler Smith. The thing about NFL contracts is that the first number you hear is usually more sizzle than steak. With Bland, the headline of $92 million sounded like Dallas had overcommitted, but the real math is more nuanced. This year, his cap hit lands at just under $6 million, which barely dents the books and lets Dallas keep flexibility for other extensions. In 2026 and 2027, the hit climbs to about $17.4 million each year, and that's the first real stress test on the deal. The front office has options at that stage. They could carry the hit, or they could execute what's called a simple restructure. That move converts part of Bland's salary into a bonus, spreads it out, and drops his immediate cap hit to under $10 million, saving around $8 million in one stroke. It's a common tool the Cowboys have used with other stars, and given how predictable Bland's performance has been, it's a safe bet they do it. Now here's where guarantees matter. In 2027, his base salary locks in for injury first, then fully guarantees in March. That gives Dallas time to make a judgment. If he's healthy and playing at his usual Pro Bowl level, the guarantee is no problem. If he's struggling or injured, they've got a decision point before the money flips from injury only to fully guaranteed. Same goes for a slice of 2028 salary, which has injury protection built in. The way this is structured tells you two things. Dallas trusts Bland, but also built escape hatches if things go south. It's smart, balanced business. Why does this matter beyond Bland? Because big money extensions stack on each other. Micah Parsons will be the headline deal soon enough, and those numbers will be massive. On top of that, Tyler Smith is lining up for what should be the richest guard deal in league history, something north of Trey Smith's 4 years and $94 million. The reason Bland's deal works is because it keeps the books flexible enough to handle both. Fans sometimes think it's about one player versus another, but in reality it's about timing. Bland's backloaded numbers and potential restructure give the Cowboys the room to layer in another monster extension without destroying cap. Balance. So let me toss this one to you. If you were in charge in 2026, would you pull the trigger on restructuring Bland to save cap space? Or would you leave the deal alone and pay the full hit? Type yes if you'd restructure, no if you'd ride it out. And let me know which extension you think the Cowboys should prioritize next, Tyler Smith or someone else. If you're enjoying breaking down the real numbers instead of just the headlines, hit that subscribe button so we can reach our 16,000 goal, and keep pushing out daily Cowboys news. And don't forget to like the video. It helps way more than you might think. Next up, we'll talk about how Diggs and Guyton are likely to be used if they're active, and what Winfrey's absence means for the defensive line rotation. Injuries always shape the story of a season, and for Dallas, the big question is not just whether guys are active, but how they're actually used when they step on the field. With Trayvon Diggs, all signs point to him suiting up, but the Cowboys could manage his snaps carefully. I wouldn't be surprised if in base packages we see Bland and Tre'Davious White or another outside corner starting the reps, with Diggs rotated in on third downs, nickel, and dime situations. That way, Bland can slide into the slot and Diggs gets matched up against the likes of A.J. Brown without having to grind every single down. It's a cautious but smart way to protect a recovering knee while still maximizing his impact. The team knows that, without Diggs, those matchups tilt heavily toward Philadelphia, so even 60% of Diggs is better than none. Then there's Tyler Guyton. Offensive linemen deal with a different kind of strain because they're setting anchors on every snap, and with a young player like Guyton, the staff has to be cautious. He says he expects to play, and that's encouraging, but the final decision belongs to the training staff. If he's cleared, the Cowboys could rotate him in with a veteran, especially early, to keep his workload manageable. Long-term, you don't want to force a rookie lineman to build bad habits by overcompensating for a sore knee. Still, even if he plays part-time, his presence stabilizes the line and lets the offense trust its protection against one of the best defensive fronts in football. On the other side of the ball, Perry and Winfrey's back tightness could quietly reshape the defensive line rotation. Dallas has a crowded room up front. Osa Odigizua, Solomon Thomas, Kenny Clark, and Maisie Smith are already fighting for snaps. Somebody is always the odd man out on game day. With Winfrey missing practice and still listed with the back issue, he's the likeliest candidate to be inactive. That's not the kind of headline fans talk about, but it matters. Those decisions affect how fresh your starters are late in the fourth quarter, especially in a physical divisional game. So here's a thought for you. If Diggs isn't 100%, who should get more snaps outside? Do you trust Nahshon Wright? Or would you rather see someone like Eric Scott Jr. step up? Drop a name in the comments and tell me straight, are you nervous about rushing Guyton back, or do you think if he's cleared, he should be full go? Your quick reactions help fuel the discussion. While you're at it, make sure to subscribe so we can hit that 16,000 mark. Every new sub means we can bring you more breakdowns like this one. Give the video a like if you're glad we're getting some good news on Diggs and Guyton after a camp that felt heavy on injuries. Next, we'll pivot to leadership. The captains for 2025 have been announced, and I want to explain why those 6 names matter more than you might think. Leadership doesn't show up in the box score, but it defines how teams respond in critical moments. The Cowboys just announced their 6 captains for this season, and the group says a lot about the identity of this roster. On offense, it's Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. No surprise there, Dak has been the steady voice for years, and CeeDee's growth into one of the league's best receivers makes him not only a playmaker, but also a tone setter for younger guys in the room. On defense, it's Osa Odigizua and Donovan Wilson. Osa has become a heartbeat for the defensive line, a guy who plays with relentless effort, while Wilson brings toughness and physicality to the secondary. On special teams, Brandon Aubrey and C.J. Goodwin earned the nods. Aubrey, after an impressive rookie year, has now stepped into a trusted role, and Goodwin is one of those glue players every team needs, respected, reliable, and vital in hidden yardage situations. What stands out is the balance: 2 leaders on offense, 2 on defense, and 2 on special teams. That distribution tells you the players wanted representation across the board. It's also notable that Micah Parsons isn't in this group, not because he isn't a leader, but because this team values different kinds of voices. Sometimes your best player leads by example, while others handle the official role. Dallas also plans to rotate a weekly captain starting in week 2, which means more guys get the experience of handling the coin toss and being front-facing on game day. That spreads responsibility and builds accountability deeper into the roster. If you think about it, this connects back to contracts like Bland's extension. When you pay a guy, you're not just rewarding performance, you're betting on who you want shaping the culture. Leaders like Dak, ceedee, Osa, and Donovan set the standard for how Bland and others are expected to carry themselves once they step into bigger financial roles. These captain choices aren't random. They're a reflection of the locker room's trust. And in tight games against Philly or San Francisco, when momentum swings, leadership often decides who bends and who breaks. So let me ask you, if you could add one more captain to this group, who would it be and why? Keep it short and drop it in the comments. It could be Parsons, it could be Zach Martin, or maybe someone flying under the radar. Also, if you want to be part of our post-game reactions this season, subscribe right now so we can hit that 16,000 subscriber milestone together. And of course, drop a like on this video to keep the support strong. Up next, we'll tie everything together with quick takeaways, what to watch for in Week 1, and the storylines that matter most before kickoff. All right, let's bring it all together with the quick takeaways that matter before Week 1. First, the Duron Bland extension isn't nearly as heavy on the cap as those early reports made it seem. The Cowboys built in flexibility with restructure options and staggered guarantees, which means the deal keeps future moves like a Tyler Smith extension or Micah Parsons mega deal on the table. Second, Trayvon Diggs going full at practice is huge. Even if he's managed in a rotational role, his presence against an elite receiving core changes the defensive matchup. Third, Tyler Guyton expecting to play is another lift. Protecting the quarterback against Philly's defensive front is no small thing, and his availability stabilizes the line. Fourth, Perry and Winfrey's back issue may not dominate headlines, but it could quietly shift who's active on the defensive line. Depth matters in a divisional war. And fifth, the captain announcements show how this team is distributing leadership across every phase: offense, defense, and special teams. That balance of voices is the kind of detail that carries weight in close games. So, what should you watch this week? Keep an eye on how Diggs is used. Base versus nickel, full workload versus situational snaps. Track Guyton's participation, not just whether he plays, but how effective he looks anchoring the line. Watch the defensive line rotation without Winfrey, because that tells you who the coaches really trust. And pay attention to the captains, not just at the coin toss, but in those moments when momentum starts to tilt. Those are the storylines that tell you whether Dallas is ready to come out swinging. Let's make this interactive to close things out. Of the headlines we covered, which one do you think matters most this week? Is it Bland's contract details, Diggs' health, Guyton's availability, or Winfrey's absence? Drop your answer in the comments and let's see where fans stand. While you're there, don't forget to grade the Bland extension with A through F and vote TD if you think Diggs is the key player or TG if you think Guyton is. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. We're pushing hard toward 16,000 subscribers, and every single one helps keep these daily breakdowns rolling. Hit the like button if this video helped you get set for Week 1, and share it with a fellow Cowboys fan so they're in the loop too.